Hello, I'm Henry Albert, Freightliner Team Run Smart driver, and I'm here to talk about collision mitigation today. And the reason I say collision mitigation, that's an important word. Many people falsely call the system collision avoidance. It's a mitigation system. There's a good chance it may avoid it, but don't count on that. So the real goal of a driver is to never have the system engaged, to learn what it's seeing. It's watching like a funnel out the front of your truck, and it's tracking approximately 120 items per second. It's identifying the top 6 threats. What it sees as a threat is any metal object that's moving slower than you. The last thing that it only does, the last minute impact, is for stop traffic. That's the slowest thing that it'll react for, because we have a lot of metal objects around a truck. And it would be going off all the time because there's so much metal everywhere. So it's really reacting mostly for a slower moving vehicle on you. It also gets confused and people think it's a set footage distance. It's actually rate of closure. The faster you're closing in on them, the quicker it reacts. Your goal as a driver is to identify what it's seeing. It can't make a mistake, much like earlier in our discussion we talked about the automated manual transmissions. It's operating on logic. So it's like a big funnel. You're going up on a fairly twisty road like I-77 through West Virginia. And you're fortunate enough to have a 6,000-pound load of sofas on, but you catch a steel hauler. He's down to 30 miles an hour in a left-hand turn. As your truck's coming up, that becomes a slow-moving vehicle ahead of you, even though you're in the other lane. It doesn't know the lane's turned. It knows nothing about that. What it's waiting for is a reaction from you first. How do you avoid it from hitting the brakes for what it sees as a slow-moving vehicle? Lightly put your foot on the throttle, cancel cruise, take some sort of action, or hit the brakes yourself, which you probably don't want to be doing in that case. That it sees you as the driver taking an action, then it'll say, okay, you have it, all's okay. Also know that it's often like walking a dog. Much like that truck, it was ahead of you. It may not have been what you wanted to see, but it's looking for objects moving slower than you. So anytime the road curves left and you're coming straight into them, it's seeing a vehicle ahead of you, even though the lanes turn. This can happen sometimes even on an access road if it's close enough to the road with you. So you're looking out the same windshield. Your goal as a driver is to out-anticipate it and stay ahead of it so that it never goes off. Also, it will pace the vehicle ahead of you. I don't really like to get in that habit with a truck, because usually if you caught another truck or car, you caught them for a reason. And one of those reasons being is they're not steady. So then your truck starts mimicking whatever they're doing. So you're going to be slowing down, speeding up, which is going to hurt your fuel mileage and the company you work for. And also remember, during that, whenever it's engaged, you're all the way up against what's collision mitigation, which is much different than avoidance. I always like to refer to the collision avoidance system as the driver that's driving the truck. Hopefully that, to me, your goal is driving this is to keep this thing in the background and to save you if you happen to miss it, which happened to me going through Austin, Texas. I'm driving along and a lot of activity started happening to me on my right-hand side. I looked in my mirror to look if I had a clear spot to move away from the danger, and right at that moment, somebody from my right dove in front of me and hit the brakes. The system caught it, it braked, I didn't hit him. I'm here to say, after driving since 1983, I will tell you I would have hit him if I hadn't had that system. So for any time that you're having to drive ahead of it and keep it from seeing things you don't want to see, all of that was worth it at that moment. So with that, any questions on assurance or any of the mitigation systems?